Trap God. It's real life. It's real. It's a real thing. It's a real experience. And my mom, wrote this foreword. My mom is 82 now, and she sat down and wrote the foreword, and I had them to just gather her words and experience, and just really special, man. Really special. It chokes me up, to be an author, the lessons learned, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's incredible, man. Welcome to the CMO mindset. The CMO mindset. Yep. So, the CMO mindset, it's a mindset, is a discipline framework for thought and action centered on radical accountability, resilient grit, strategic foresight, integrity in action, continuous evolution. It's about becoming the primary architect of your eternal state to consciously navigate external challenges and opportunities. It's about becoming the primary architect of your internal state to consciously navigate external challenges and opportunities. The purpose of this thing is to sharpen your pencil. It's to really sharpen your mental pencil, right? Because, from usage, it gets dull. Our mental sharpness can get dull from life, from external challenges, right? And so you have to have a way to, navigate. And, like I said, it's about being the primary architect. External things become the architect of your consciousness, right? External factors. Somebody being an asshole, somebody, things not going your way one day, something happening unfortunate, or not getting the job. All those external factors, they become the architect of your consciousness, right? You can't do this because of that, your credit score, or you can't get this car, or you can't get this place or buy a house because of external. And then you have to navigate that, right? And so I'm the architect of having a positive mentality, and that's what the CMO is. It's the person in charge of keeping that, of navigating that, architect that is navigating that internal, boardroom. It's a powerful book, man. Really powerful book, man. Really powerful, man. Yeah. I'm saying that's what. So the CMO, he regulates the mentality. He's like the thermostat, the mentality thermostat, because external things will bring the temperature down, right? Something has to go and raise that temperature. Sometimes when your morale is low, your mentality is low because of external factors. It can lower your morale, your belief, your conscious just belief that you can. So the CMO, man, he turns the temperature back up, balances it back out, right? Keeps you from being not too hot, but not too cold. You know what I mean? It's just a regulation inside of you to help, put you back as the primary architect. This recognition of knowing that, I got to keep my mentality together. You know what I mean? Because with a great mentality, a good attitude and the right mentality, you can take nothing and turn it into something. And with the wrong attitude, mentality, you could take something and destroy it. Because you got the wrong attitude, wrong mentality. You're not looking at life or opportunities the correct way, right? You're looking at them from a bad mentality. Everything that you have is a direct result of what you do, right? You know, so it's what you do determines what you have. And I've earned, you know, my right because I work hard. I do more than others. I do more than the average person. You know, some people will say you think you're better than people. Well, my work is better. My workout is better than yours. I put in the work where it's supposed to be put. You know, LeBron James is better than the average player at 40, you know, because he works, he puts in the work to be better. And it's not better than a person. No, it's better than your work ethic. Your label must match your labor, right? And what that means is whatever label you give yourself, a title, your labor must match it. Yeah. You the boss. Well, you know what? Your work should show that. Your career, your resume should match your labor. But most people want to give themselves a title that they ain't put in the work for. That's how confidence is earned. Is because the work that's put in. You know what I'm saying? I didn't put in the work. I'm still putting it in now. Right? So I'm confident in my title. Because when this phone rings, I know exactly what to do every time. Because I built it from scratch. I built it from nothing.